Hello everyone! So in the past, I've painted huge walls, various murals, and have always loved doing so. And I've always wanted to learn how to paint giant murals of people and faces and bodies, but scaling faces this large honestly intimidates me so much.
Coward.
I'm so afraid of getting the proportions wrong, of not being able to fix it, having a panic attack midway through because I have no idea how to proceed, and then the client needs it by a certain date, and it's just too much. So I've decided to test two completely different mural methods on my garage wall. And somewhere in the middle of this project, I realized that there was only one person that I wanted to paint. Once I started sketching ideas for portraits and looking up images of faces that seemed easy and smooth to draw, I just couldn't stop coming back to this beautiful photo of my grandma. Her name was Trinidad, and sadly, she passed away a few years ago. And we were really close, and I miss her so much. I love you, Grandma. And I've never painted her at this scale before. I think I tried making a portrait of her a few months after she passed, but I just couldn't get it right for some reason, and I gave up. So yeah, this experiment slash project suddenly became a lot more personal than I expected. Alright, so before I can even start painting, I have to figure out how I'm going to transfer her face onto the garage wall without completely messing up the proportions. So for the first side, I decided to try something called the doodle method. And honestly, when I first saw people doing this online, I thought it looked kind of wonky. And I didn't quite understand the concept, but it's actually quite simple and intuitive. Basically, instead of trying to perfectly copy every detail right away, you draw a bunch of doodles and random drawings and marks and lines on your wall. Then you take a picture of the wall and lay your image over it. I'm using Procreate on my iPad here, and you kind of just play with the opacity to get what you need. The idea is that it helps your brain focus more on proportions and values instead of getting stuck obsessing over tiny details. At least that's the theory. So I have my doodles, my wall, and now all I need to do is start sketching. Not gonna lie, the hardest part was second guessing myself with each stroke. I feel like I should have maybe done more doodles so that I had better reference points to mark off of, if that makes sense. There was a little too much space in between important facial markers. So for sure that's something I'll take into consideration next time, but here's how the sketch turned out. I think it's okay for my first time using the doodle method, but I guess we'll see. Now let's paint it in. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop here. I was going to add in all the other details in this image, like the flowers and the leaves and the halo, but I don't really feel like doing that, honestly.
I do not want to do this.
And I got the experience that I needed from trying the doodle method. So yeah, I'm gonna move on now to the second method of scaling an image on a wall, which is VR. I tried it for the first time in my last video, and I thought it was so cool, so I'm going to see if I can do the same for transferring my grandma's face onto the wall and see how it compares to the doodle method. Okay, and I had some questions last time about how to get images and artwork onto the Meta goggles, and here's what I do. I downloaded this app called MacDroid since I have a Mac, and it connects to your goggles. Then you can just drag and drop your files directly into a folder specifically for your goggles. And here's how it looks within your goggles. So enter the contour app, select your image, click on the folder that you put it in, and voila. All right, so now I'm going to transfer my grandma to the wall and let's see how it goes. Okay. I think that went well. I took about 10 minutes total to get all the details in. With the doodle method, I spent about an hour trying to get all the lines right and taking my time, stepping back to see that it looked okay and all that jazz. So yeah, now I'm gonna paint this side in and let's see how big of a difference there is between the VR and the doodle method. Alright, so these are the final results. Seeing both of these side by side honestly feels kind of surreal. I started this project because I wanted to challenge myself and practice painting faces on a much larger scale, but I definitely didn't expect it to become this emotional for me. So starting with the doodle method side, this one definitely took me way longer. I had to first map out all the doodles, then slowly figure out the face shape, the features, the fingers, shadows, basically everything. And I think if I did this again, I would probably change the amount of doodles depending on how detailed the mural is, because there were definitely moments where I wished that I had more reference points to help with the proportions. But honestly, I'm really glad I tried it, because now I know that I can scale up my artwork on my own without needing a projector or a VR or anything like that. And I think it's really important as an artist to build different skill sets and not rely on only one method. Now for the VR side, this one was honestly kind of a breeze in comparison. There were still a few small challenges with tracing through the goggles and adjusting my vision every once in a while, but overall it felt way easier and faster than the doodle method, of course. And personally, I do think that the VR side helped me get a lot more of the smaller details and proportions correctly. But overall, I'm genuinely so happy with how both of them turned out. And more than anything, I'm just really happy that I finally painted my grandma at this scale. I feel like this project gave me the chance to reconnect with her in a weird way. I don't know. I think she would have loved this. But anyway, now I want to know what you guys think. Which side do you like better, the doodle method or the VR side? And have you ever tried one of these methods before, or would you want to? Also, please let me know if there's any other mural techniques or giant art experiments that you all want me to try, because honestly I had so much fun making this. And if you enjoyed watching, don't forget to like and subscribe to see what I'm up to next. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Abuelita, ¿por qué hay tantos pájaros?
Porque Diosito los hizo y ellos se juntaron.
No me diga.
Ajá.